Hi, my name's Olivia Richard, and this is my housing story. I often get asked why I'm so passionate about the accessible, affordable, integrated housing situation here in the Commonwealth and across the country, and in particularly my city of Boston. Um, the reason is I did not always have a physical disability. To be honest, I didn't realize how badly it affects your housing prospects when you get one. I found myself in 2009 facing life in a wheelchair due to infection. So basically, when I came home, I did not have an accessible apartment to return to. I just returned to where I came from. Even though I lived in the Boston Housing Authority, the apartment I had wasn't exactly great for someone who has a disability. Um, and I lived there for a year after returning home from rehab, where I was washing my dishes in the bathtub. I was getting my water from the bathroom sink. I couldn't reach the kitchen sink. I had to request that the maintenance guy flip the door on my refrigerator so I could open it and not get stuck because the kitchen was just so small. I couldn't even get the refrigerator door open to get food. They did that after a month. Uh, Probably the most dangerous situation was I had a normal stove in there, a combination of regular stove and not being able to reach the kitchen sink for water meant I set myself on fire trying to cook back in August, September uh, of that year. It actually, no, I take that back. It was like early October of 2010. Uh, I basically had to use a contact I had. Um, I know the administrator of the BHA, and I had to pull that card, basically, of using my city councilor in addition to the administrator of the Boston Housing Authority to get myself moved. I am in a fantastic apartment now, and it's still within the Boston Housing Authority system. I do live with elderly people, unfortunately. The vast majority of the accessible apartments within the Boston Housing Authority are located within the elderly and disabled units, complexes. Um, so, because I was thrown into the fire, basically, literally and figuratively, uh, it sparked in me the reality that housing housing is a right. Um, Housing is a fundamental. Without you think of one of my degrees in psych. Um, you think of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. The bottom is food, water, shelter, and sex. Those are the four things you cannot live without. Shelter is critical, and I don't think I would have made the gains that I have made since moving if I had remained in the housing situation I was in. And because I was lucky enough to be able to utilize a resource I had, it made me realize it's my turn. It's my turn to speak about life from 4 feet in a chair, and how difficult it is to get housing, to keep housing. And when, a lot of us, we can get secondary injuries from our disabilities. I faced that myself. I spent a month back in a different specialty hospital because I damaged my right rotator cuff back in 2012, and they had to repair that. If it had gone for 3 months or any longer than 3 months, my apartment would have been in jeopardy because of a residency rule that the housing authority has. There's just so much to fight for, and ultimately this housing campaign is going to be fought with our voices and our experiences. Just speak honestly, speak from your experience, speak from the heart. Sometimes you'll have to show figures and numbers and whatnot, and typically the fight is won with hearts and minds. A combination of the two. Your stories are what is going to win this campaign. Ultimately, they're not going to sit there and tell you to your face, we want you on the street. They're just not going to do that. So we have to give them a face to remember, a name to remember, and a story to remember. Yeah. I have been homeless. I was homeless back when I could walk. It was frightening. It was a very, very bad experience. And I was homeless due to no fault of my own. And, even with all of the priority points I accumulated, I was homeless from June of 2006 to February of 2007. And that homelessness consisted of, I lived in a hospital for a month. I lived in the Arbor, Jamaica Plain. I was in a homeless shelter for a few months, and I couch surfed at one of my very near and dear friends' houses. And that also struck home to me because it was very difficult to make progress on rebuilding what I'd lost from being displaced the way I did until I finally got that roof over my head, and it served as a foundation. And then when I ended up getting the paralysis back in 2009, if I did not have, even though it was unsafe, it was still mine. It felt okay. And then I realized this is unacceptable. When I moved, I have made huge progress. Also, the fact that I live independently in the community means, and I'm able to get around this community independently. I buy dog food for my dog. She's here, snoring. Hello. You gonna say hi? Yeah, she's sleeping. She's not interested. I buy all kinds of stuff, and that's sales tax. Sales tax goes back into the community. I have done a hell of a lot of volunteering. That resource capital goes back into the community. And the fact that I pay rent here, I behave myself, which is a lot more than I can say sometimes for some of my neighbors, but that's beside the point. It's a good deal to live in a place you call home. And that's where we need to drill it into them. Sorry I couldn't be there today with you guys, but I really hope that you make those appointments with your legislators. Get your stories out, get your voices out. You guys have a lot to say, you have your own experiences, and ultimately, you're going to make all of our communities a lot better for it. This is a big, big thank you from me and from the disability community. Thanks.